Hello guys, welcome to the episode 38 of this playlist on creating the web API and consuming it with MVC in ASP.NET Core 3.1. I shall walk you through creating the order controller with the index action method in this lecture. These episodes and the code base are built in continuation from the previous ones, hence I request you to go through them before coming to this one. I will give you the promotional link to my premium courses on Udemy if you put your constructive and positive comments on these videos, and I shall also request you to subscribe to the channel and share it. So let's see what is the learning outcome of today's lecture. Hello everyone. So we'll be creating the order controller with the index action method. So we have already finished and seen the customer controller in action with all the related tasks, CRUD operation for the customer controller. So now we'll be shifting our focus to the order controller, and by the end of this lecture we shall have the order controller and the index action method in the controller. So let's flip over to the Visual Studio and start coding again. So we'll have to create the order controller, for which actually I'll just contract this node web API because we are not going to work on web API anymore. So here I have expanded the web API consume, that is the MVC project, our current project, and I'll just clean it up a little bit. So controllers model, I'll just close all the root level folders to make it more cleaner. So right click on the controllers and add controller, MVC controller empty. So click on add again. It brings the add new with item wizard, and I will make this order controller. So basic order controller class is created, which actually derives from the controller class. So this controller base class, it's a base class for an MVC controller with view support. Okay, and then what I will do, I will just highlight all the using statements and control V from my clipboard, which has got all the essential stuff, essential packages and libraries for this project to succeed. And then save it, and then I have to modify this iAction result type to be actually, it's an async. It will again be async task on iAction result, and it will have to return a view, but a bit different way. So what I will do, I will just get rid of this return view statement and start writing list of order, and I could call this orders or order list is my preference because this is a list of an order. New list order with a pair of circular brackets, and then the using statement. New HTTP client. Now, by now you might have been so familiar with the HTTP client class. So what this class does actually, so briefly telling, if you right click on HTTP client class and go to definition, you'll see the metadata. So this class is derived from HTTP message invoker. It has got a public constructor HTTP client, and then another constructor HTTP client with a HTTP message handler passed on to it, and then another of this public constructor. Okay, so, and it has got a base address which returns a type URI, and it has got a timeout, and it has got default request headers of type HTTP request headers, and a little bit it has a few methods, get string async, and So this is the base class, and it has got a dispose method, and it has got a send async, post async, put async, which will be very handy as you'll see in our upcoming lectures. So that's why this HTTP client is highly used in this type of scenario, where we need to actually interrogate or send an HTTP request over the network to a backend, like in this case it's a web API. So following this using statement, a pair of curly braces, and again a using statement is the almost the same that we have in a same blocks of code with slight modification from action method to action method. And HTTP client, I wait on HTTP client. Actually, let me call this HTTP client. HTTP client. Now it's all right. Dot get async. As we just saw that there is a get async method, and here I need to be careful in getting the URI for my backend or web API. So in order to see the web API, what I will do is I will open this node web API, and I've already done that, and open this launch settings from the properties. So this launch setting gives me the SSL port as 44395. So this will be basically https://localhost: 44395. Okay. So having this opened on a different tab, new vertical document type, helps if you tend to forget. And then let's close this to get more real estate. So this will be https:// and then this SSL port is 44395, which is what HTTPS stands for, secured socket layer, and this is hypertext transfer protocol secure. Okay, so this will be https://localhost port number 44395. / API / order. You have to be very careful about writing the proper URI, otherwise you'll never get the any response from the web API if the URL is wrong, understandably so, right? So this is what it is, get async, and this is the request being sent over the net, over the wire, to the API, to the order controller of the API. So we'll get back the response string. Both cannot be response, so API response string API response is await on what? The response that we got above, response dot content. So what is this content? The content property gets the content of HTTP response message. Okay, gets or sets. So in this case it is get. Dot again read as string async. So read as string async means this is reading the actually string that it got and serialize the HTTP content as an asynchronous operation. And then this order list will be actually, now this order list is a list of order, so this will be achieved from JSON convert dot, again the same deserialize object, deserializing the API response string to be cast as a list of order. And then finally on this string, you carry out this operation on this API response, right? And then semicolon to end the statement. Let me close this to get more space, and then outside the inner using statement out, and I'm now quit the outer using statement as well, and then I am in a position to return view with what? Return view with this order list, which is a list of order list. Order list object, and then build the application with Control-Shift-B. And the build succeeded. Okay. And so in this lecture, I have been able to initialize or create an order controller, which derives from the controller base class that supports MVC views, and I have created the index action method.